Okay. Really, I guess I always like to start from kind of why I thought of doing something like this. Of course, I've always proposed, or since I've been in the Senate, even in the House, I think I've put forward some changes in the executive branch, some of which y'all have written about in the past. But I think it was last year, we were dealing with the last year before, we were dealing with one of the restructuring bills, and I don't remember which one, to one of the agencies. And I misspelled accountability, sorry, on the top.
There should be penalties for that.
There will be.
Misspelling accountability.
That legislator who can't spell came in and taught us. And it kind of just struck me, okay, why are people resistant to what this proposal was? And I don't remember whether it was the Comptroller General or the DOT or whatever. And it struck me that there's this kind of just fear that we are creating great power within the governor's office, and we know that we really don't exercise very much power over government operations in the government. And power might be the wrong word. It might be more like influence or control or direction or whatever. And that's when I think I wrote an editorial last year that said, look, the problem is not that the legislature has all this power, because that's really not the problem. The problem is that we don't have, whether we have the power or not, we don't exercise power that we should exercise to oversee state government, to make sure that our government is accountable to what we want and to what the people who elect us want. It just kind of is. It just is there. It just is there, and that's how things go. And I think that was part of the fear of the General Assembly, to really make great changes in the executive branch. So then that led me to say, okay, if we're going to move forward, we got to look at modernizing, and that's truly what this is, modernizing the legislative branch, and at the same time modernize the executive branch, both of which I like to say need to be empowered. They need to be empowered. They need to have the ability to direct how our government works. So then of course, that's the easy part of saying something like that. And then I sat down to try to figure out, well, how can we empower our government to better serve the citizens of South Carolina and to act in a more deliberate way long term, because we don't have long term ideas in our heads usually. So I sat down and I started to put on paper what became to be the Government Accountability Act of 2008, which I've introduced, and which I'm now in the process, as I was telling Cindy earlier, of trying to get support